Okay, thank you. Very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for the last panel members. Sports tech. I should say, of course, there's sports tech and there's sports. Just to throw it out there, next week, okay, the Rugby Sevens is back in Hong Kong. So I was going to remind everybody to come and join us at the Hong Kong Stadium. I'm a massive rugby fan. Peter, I think you're a Kiwi, so you're a rugby fan as well, right?
I'm a huge rugby fan as well, Anson. I'm very excited about getting the Sevens back in Hong Kong to get that life back here in the city that we remember.
That's right. And William, how are you this afternoon?
Yeah, really good. Really excited.
And how about you, Raymond?
Doing fine. Good. Thank you.
Okay, good. Well, listen, we're going to step it up, right? This is going to be high energy, high octane, ladies and gentlemen. I've got lots and lots of questions, but I'd also encourage all of you to also ask us any questions. If you've got any ideas, comments, if you agree or if you disagree, let us know. We'll be more than happy to take you on. But maybe let's just kind of kick things off. One of the things I just want to mention is that Peter and I have been collaborating, and what we did do is we actually collaborated on a brand new report called The Emerging Giants in Asia Pacific. And it was a collaboration between HSBC and KPMG, and we were looking at those future unicorns or emerging giants. And we used a lot of data from PitchBook, but we looked at 150,000 startups around the entire region. We then pulled the skin back, and we came up with 6,500 startups, and we were looking at those future-focused industries. And I think the interesting thing for all of us is that, of course, fintech was there, yes, but what's interesting, of course, is we see a lot of these future-focused industries now emerging. And in particularly, of course, no surprise about NFTs and blockchain equally, and that was in the number one spot. Then we had DeFi. We had things like, of course, the EV infrastructure and charging. We had things like satellites. We had things like sustainable manufacturing, sustainable packaging. So there were lots of really interesting things, quantum computing. So what I would say to everyone is check out the new paper from the HSBC KPMG team. And I also have to say, of course, William, Catheon Gaming got in the report as well. So, congratulations on that. But do you want to just share with us very quickly a little bit of an overview about Catheon? And I also kind of wanted to get your thoughts, because we're seeing a lot of mixed messages, right? People want to invest in the metaverse, but if you look at the numbers, there's been, I think, quite a significant decrease in metaverse projects, and certainly in Q3. But on blockchain gaming, there seems to have been quite a healthy interest in investing. So can you share with all of us a little bit about Catheon, but also to share with us a little bit about your thoughts around why blockchain gaming?
Yeah, so I'll start with blockchain gaming and what blockchain gaming is for the benefit of the audience that don't really know. So traditionally, games have been very closed economy and systems where if you're playing a game and you spend a lot of time within the game and you've gone and spent 100 hours leveling your character to a level 100, and suddenly one day you decide not to play, the character and the time that you spent becomes worthless, right? You cannot sell your account legally. You cannot have ownership over the assets within the games. The items that you found and the drops that you managed to achieve, you can't do anything with them. And so the new, we believe at Catheon, the new generation of games are games where the assets within the game, whether they are NFTs or avatars or equipments or even just points, they should be tradable on an independent market at all times, right? And you should have true ownership over those assets within the game. So that's what blockchain gaming is. What we are doing at Catheon is we want to build the next generation of games. And our thesis is that the way you do that is not by building an individual game, but by actually building the broadest portfolio of games out there. So today we sit on 25 different games of different genres, starting from sports games to anime games to shooter games to metaverse games, the full gamut. But also then starting to vertically integrate the company across the different the supply chain, right? So if you think about the next generation of blockchain gaming companies, right, and the most successful traditional games companies out there, they generally are companies that have control over the distribution network. They actually do more than just game development. They do publishing as well. They do advisory. They can have control of the game engine. And so for us, blockchain gaming is only 12 months old. And there aren't a lot of big companies out there because the industry is so small. And so for us, what we're trying to do here is try to build the most deepest ecosystem out there by building that, being as vertically integrated as possible.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I'm going to cut you off there because I've got lots of questions. Peter, just this morning, unfortunately, I kind of missed the session this morning, but everybody keeps telling me about Thomas. And did anyone here listen to Thomas this morning from Gobi? Yeah. And everyone say, "Oh, you've got to listen to Thomas. He was really, really good." Well, that was until I'm here, right? And then that's all going to change. But no, joking apart, I think Thomas was talking about mojo, and he was talking about the fact that has Hong Kong lost its mojo? Now, obviously, I was in Singapore a couple of weeks ago, and it seems that Singapore's stolen our mojo. But have they? And obviously, by the way, I don't know if you know, Peter, the red glasses, they are iconic. And that's because you work for the Big Red, right? You work for HSBC. And yesterday, I went to my optometrist, and guess what I bought? I bought a blue pair of glasses because of KPMG, right? KPMG blue. Well, HSBC
Anson,
red?
Well, Anson, I think the blue team and the red team teaming up on the emerging giants of Asia is fantastic. But I don't think Hong Kong has lost its mojo.
So we haven't lost our mojo.
I think today at the conference, it's evident that the mojo is back. I mean, this fantastic audience here, the startups that are exhibiting in the innovation showcase, but also, I mean, having companies like what Catheon Gaming are showcasing, that the new Web3 technologies that are thriving in Hong Kong, that are helping connect Hong Kong to the Greater Bay, that are extending across Asia to solve B2B problems in a variety of different industries. That's something that actually asset management at HSBC, which is part of the bank, is very excited about. And that's why we've actually launched 3 strategies to enable some of our professional investors to invest in some of these areas.
And let me guess. Fintech,
B2B technologies.
That's it, right? Only fintech.
Climate tech.
Okay,
technologies.
climate tech.
And soon to be announced a Greater Bay technology fund. So we're very excited about Web3 technologies. In fact, HSBC is also participating in the Web3 gaming space with our role in the sandbox. And we'll be announcing a HSBC collaboration with the Rugby Sevens this week, where you can play a game in the sandbox, run around, collect a bunch of rugby balls from around the world, and really helps that connect that big brand that all of us in Hong Kong know with the younger generation, the younger audiences that may not know about the brand or may not have a reason to connect with the brand.
So that's interesting, isn't it? Fintech is a given, right? I'd always have HSBC across the whole of fintech, but you're now saying that climate tech, that's where it's happening.
Well, actually,
ESG.
Well, actually, the fintech brand that we're sort of investing in is what we call sustainable fintech.
Right.
The climate tech is very aligned to the whole direction of the bank in terms of sustainability, divesting from traditional older energy supplies like coal, but in investing in companies that are helping industries transition from high carbon, high-use economies to low-carbon use economies, so EV,
Right.
Environmental technologies that are helping grow crops of foods, the apparel industry, and many of these really exciting technologies that are going to help us move into the next 10 years of sustainable industry.
And I think the interesting thing there is you guys are setting up those funds, right? So you've set up the FinTech fund. You're in the process of setting up the Climate Tech fund. And as you said, you're also looking at this GBA Tech fund as well.
Yeah, and actually this week we're announcing a website which you can find out more details about. Then professional investors obviously can come and talk to us and learn about those strategies. If you want to find out more about that, you can talk to us about it later. In fact, our companies that we've invested in are already listed out on that website.
They're on the website. And is it early stage? Is it Series A, B, C, D?
The sweet spot for... And this is the first time HSBC has ever done this.
Yeah.
It's a Series A, Series B sweet spot.
Okay.
And it's Asia and Europe that really enables us to maximize the value to the startup. So we can help them grow from the country that they're into other countries, expand, and then we can offer them a lot of other banking services as well, like venture debt or structured lending or other banking services.
Okay. Thanks. Yawn. Okay. Thank you for that, Peter. Raymond, just want to bring you in, my friend, because COVID, quite frankly, it's really changed the game, right? And we're still dealing with this long tail of COVID. But at the same time, we're also seeing a lot of digital transformation. A lot of my clients, they want to talk, of course, they want to talk about ESG and green, but actually they really want to talk about digital transformation. So what are you seeing right now? Because I think every company, they're kind of pursuing this dynamic digital strategy. So what are you seeing right now? Especially, I think, you're involved in cyber and cybersecurity, but what can you share with us what you're seeing in the market? And what do the companies right now who are joining us today, what should we be thinking about?
Sure. Before I answer your questions about transformation of myself, I'm not going to get pink glasses because I work for Checkpoint and the key color is pink. So
why not?
We're going to stay away
Why
from
not?
that.
You're going to get pink glasses.
Okay. So for digital transformations, it's not something new, but then I think match the topics that we have today of metaverse, right? It's about AR, VR, and that part of that business for industrial has been already taking off. There are a lot of AR, VR related use cases of industrial and digital transformations. However, they were all like the gaming. They were all closed. So every company, every systems would have their own digital transformation platform. So the security of that part, the cyber part of it, will be more contained to the solution itself. But then when it goes into the metaverse concepts of digital transformations where things that you can get, for example, in the BIM industry, you could acquire a product and that will be mapped to a actual virtual object. And then what is the security behind how you secure that becomes something much bigger. So what we have always pitched for even digital transformations, I like to map to the car concept. If you think about the old days where the cars are not like today, there are no physical security map inside the car. So you have to buy a secure alarm system, you hook it up, and then every car sounds the same with the same security system. But nowadays, if you buy and acquire a car, it's always designed in. So the car manufacturers has already embedded that into. So cars are a lot more secure today than they were before. So car thefts are a lot less than what it was before. So we pitch the concept of secure by design very much. And you'll hear that terms coming out. I know one of the questions was, what was the key message to deliver as far as the cybersecurity? I think you will see a lot of investors are looking also into company startups or enterprise. They are looking into more how they can adopt the secure by design concepts.
Good point.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, we want to talk about, we're talking about blockchain gaming. Am I right in thinking that you've got a couple of different investments and you're
Yeah, that is a thank you for allowing me to talk about it a little bit. It's more like mapping to the last sessions that we had.
Yeah.
I had my own e-studio for cycling sports.
Wow.
So people can do e-races and looking at the screen all together or across the world.
So sports tech.
Yeah, but nothing, no investment, doesn't make any money. It's just a hobby today.
Until you become the next unicorn.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, but I killed that idea.
Okay, no, that is interesting, isn't it?
It's interesting.
The fact that
It is.
We are seeing lots of things going on.
Oh, yeah,
and,
yeah,
you know,
definitely.
the great thing is that everyone can be an entrepreneur these days, right? So, you know, it's we can all be entrepreneurs. And one day, of course, I'm gonna leave the big blue and I'm gonna set up my own unicorn. Yeah, right. Now, I just want to come back. Last week, I had a very interesting chat with Zaf Chow. Zaf, as you probably know, is from Animoca Brands. Now, Yat was talking last week about the crypto winter. And I was having a chat with Zaf because I was at the Chief Digital Officer Summit. And Zaf was also on a panel with me. And so we were kind of talking about this thing around the crypto winter. If you look back since last November, $2 trillion gone, disappeared. But I just wanted to get your views, William, in terms of, and actually Peter as well, maybe you can give me your views on this crypto winter. Should we be concerned, not concerned? Are you a little bit worried, William?
I mean, look, I think these type of things happen in cycles, right? I mean, my previous career was at Oaktree Capital, which is probably one of the most well-known cyclical investors out there. And we all know that, you know, there are times where there's a turbulence and there's times where, you know, things become more calm. And we're definitely in a period where things are more calm. You know, I think we have started to probably see the bottom. If you look at the big price of Bitcoin volatility in the last 30 days, it's now at an all-time low, which is a pretty good sign. You know, a lot of the sellers have now lost all their selling power.
So we should buy.
Not saying that, but you know, I think this is a long-term journey. I mean, to build a single game takes 4 years,
right?
And you're going to see cycles come up and come down during that period until the game is actually completed and launched. And so for us, I mean, there is you know, obviously you can't reach the same type of valuations that you would be able to do in a more hotter market. And obviously, there's not as many buyers of, for example, NFTs right now.
Right.
But this is a long-term trend upwards. You know, we fully believe in decentralization. We fully believe in the fact that people should be able to monetize their time. All right. We fully believe in the fact that you know, user-generated content should share in the proceeds or the value that they actually create, and all of that is enabled by blockchain gaming. So. For us, you know, we don't know how long the cycle will take to turn. We do know it will turn at one point, and there will be a lot of advanced signs for when that actually does happen. Okay. And in the meantime, we're going to be building.
Okay, great. What about your views? Crypto winter? I mean, is it, you know, are we going to see a lot more people burned, or is it a bigger issue? Is it the macroeconomics?
Well, look, Anson, I think it's a great question. I think it's no secret that HSBC is no fan of crypto. We've been
you're not a fan.
I think many of our CEOs and leaders have come out quite clearly. But it might be a bit of a secret that we are a fan of tokens.
Blockchain, tokenization.
And we are a fan of technology.
Right.
And we definitely see what's happened in the last year or so. It's creating a lot of new businesses and new companies that can be applied to solve some of the traditional problems, not only in the entertainment industry or in the collectibles industry or in the membership industry, but even in the banking industry. And we're starting to see some opportunities in digital assets and in where traditional banking touches customers and clients. So we're excited about the future of Web3 and excited about the future of technology. But yeah, I can't see much change just yet in our opinion around crypto, non-regulated currencies.
Okay, so you're just kind of watching that space?
Oh, no, not watching. We're actively engaged. We're
Okay.
part of the various, both on a B2B use
that's right. You
or
just
a
told me about
B2C
Sandbox,
use.
right?
Well, with Sandbox, we've been part of R3 for like 8 years.
Okay.
We've got our own technologies in trade finance. We've invested in companies in the space as well. So yeah, we love it. We love the tech.
Raymond, quick one. NFTs. I mean, every man and every woman and her dog seems to be pulling together NFTs. We heard a little bit earlier on in the first in the earlier panel. Lots of those brands now are really looking at creating NFTs in consumer, in luxury. What should we be aware? I mean, from a technology, a cyber perspective.
Yeah, I got to say it's kind of not fair for myself. I've been in the tech industry for over 20 years, and I believe in it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I haven't lost any money and invested too much in it to that I realize anything out of it either. But then I believe what NFT is part of the important factors for the new tech of Web 3.0 and also the metaverse. Because I've seen the Web 2.0, I have seen all this that happen where there was no shopping cart. People just open websites for nothing. There was like year 2, there was a crash. So I lived through that, and in a big tech company, people tell me you got to change jobs soon, and look at that. I mean, all the major company in the world right now, Amazon, I mean, eBay, or even in China, there's main company, big unicorn that started from those eras. So I believe today's sessions on investment were to find those companies, the next unicorn, and your reports will probably identify some. And I believe NFT are part of that ingredients that has to.
Sure. And I think you're right. As I said, I think NFTs came out at the top. So that's going to be interesting to watch the space. Peter, just quickly, Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley was the kind of the beginning, the catalyst of everything. But looking at Asia, are we coming of age right now? Have we finally arrived?
Well, Anson and I spent 15 years working for Intel, came out of Silicon Valley, and I've spent, next year will be 20 years for me in Hong Kong. Hong Kong's always been, or Greater Bay's always been like 1 minute behind, and we've created some amazing companies here by taking the technologies and the use cases and combining them together, like WeChat, right? Like what Alibaba's done, right? And so I see a huge and very bright future for us here. We can take and learn from the use cases that are being used in other parts of the world and use the data technologies or the high performance compute technologies and AI here to do many new things for Asia, which is a very different market, a very different demographic, and has very different needs. So, no, I think there's a lot of opportunity here.
Okay. And how about those emerging technologies? Because we keep hearing a lot about fintech, regtech, insurtech. But what are the other emerging technologies and sectors or the subsectors? What are we going to see?
Yeah, well, we call it sustainable fintech.
Right.
So it's B2B technologies that are enabling the e-commerce platforms of the world to build sustainable businesses that enable the large corporates or the large network infrastructures to serve employees or offer democratize wealth, give access to protection to customers and consumers that have never had access to it before. So it's the use of these technologies that have been so prolific at the upper end of the wealth spectrum to the much broader populations of Asia. Right. So we're very excited about sustainable fintech.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting, isn't it? In our joint study, HSBC, KPMG, Emerging Giants, we did see that sustainability is rising up very, very quickly. And as you said, I think green is, that is the future. And so that, for all of us, ESG is going to be a very big driver for those future investments. Yeah,
and maybe I'll just plug Myotech, one of our portfolio companies, Hong Kong-based company.
Right.
ESG dashboard for any SME, gives any company the ability to measure itself on a benchmark of environmental, social, or governance frameworks. This is really important to help businesses make decisions about how they're going to employ a diverse workforce, like we heard earlier today.
Yeah.
Have better governance frameworks for investors and raising capital, changing the way they spend their money on environmental use of energy, or what their carbon footprint is. So Myotech's a fantastic example of that.
Good plug. Now, Raymond, emerging technologies. Anything else? Don't tell me just cyber. What other things should we be thinking about?
Is it game, metaverse related?
Yeah, could be.
It could
it's
be.
up to you.
I think haptics is going to be a big thing that comes out. A lot more physical device strapped to the body. You feel what's going on, and
right.
There's a big.
So the wearables.
The wearables, the physical devices that you wear, where you feel the metaverse virtual. So you merge the two sides together. It is the experience, right? You can't just using your eyes to get the full immersive. But then the haptics, I think, it makes a lot of sense.
I think that's very true because, again, Hong Kong, think about our heritage, think about our history, product development, material innovation. I think these are all areas that we excel at. And I think there's lots of opportunities. Now, William, what's your message to all the corporates out there today? Of course, there are investors out there today. What's your message to everyone? Is it, can you help them? Can you kind of come up with some gamification ideas? Or do you just want cash?
Yeah.
Do you just want money? Come on, be honest.
It's always nicer to have more cash. But look, I think, we are true believers in the power of blockchain. And, our view is that all traditional businesses over the course of the next few years will have to incorporate some element of blockchain into the business operations or the sales product or whatever it is they do. We do have an advisory business, so we can advise and help a lot of these businesses transition over to the blockchain, and it doesn't need to be metaverse and NFT and gaming related. But obviously, those are also some applications that we can help out with.
Okay. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are fast running out of time. I've just got a couple of quick questions I want to ask my distinguished panel members. But what I would say to everyone here is we do need to think about the future. And I just want to point out the Gen Z consumers. The interesting thing for all of us here in Asia, in China alone, there are 300 million Gen Z consumers. If you add on those ASEAN numbers, if you add on the Indian numbers as well, you get to nearly 600 million Gen Z consumers. My teenage son is one of those Gen Z consumers. They are very tech savvy. They are absolutely digital natives. And I think that, for all of us, is something we need to be thinking about for the future. And that's why it's so important as we look at the future of gaming, and we talked about esports earlier on, but that connectivity with those Gen Z consumers. Now, before we go, is it technology? Is it about innovation? Or is it about mindset? Peter.
Well, that's an easy one. It's all of those.
All of them.
It's all of them. You can't have
one without the other.
You can't have a great mindset and then no ability to execute it. And there's no point in having amazing technology if you don't have the mindset to use it. So it's a nice trick question for the panel there, Anson. You're trying to trip us up, aren't you?
Thanks for being a spoil sport, Peter. Fair enough. I'll let you off. I was going to say the same thing. But guys, final thoughts, because we are out of time. What is your message to everyone here today at the CVCF? What would you say to all the audience members, everybody joining us virtually? What is your message to people?
Yeah, I mean, my key message is I still think we're very, very early, and I think that this is a very, very cyclical industry, and by nature of the fact that it is young. And so I do encourage everyone to think very long term, whether it is the valuation or whether it is looking at certain technology or what makes sense. Over the long term.
So give me a phrase. Give me a phrase. I want one sentence.
Well, the long term will prevail. You have to give me a bit longer to think of a great quote.
I'm going to give you 10 seconds. I'm going to give you 10
was-
seconds. Raymond, what's
say-
your comments to the audience? What's your buzzword or your buzz sentence?
For us, small size company, big size company don't matter. Embed cybersecurity, secure by design, will be something that if you want to invest in a company, something you should look into. Because if you want a sustainable company, then that is a very important part.
Okay, secure by design. I'll let you off. I was going to say you can't say cybersecurity, okay? We've got to be, think about it. This has got to be inspirational. Give me an inspirational quote, Peter Dingle.
Venture capital excited about fintech and climate tech. Come and talk to us.
Hang on. That's a sales pitch. Come on. You got to give me an inspirational quote. Everybody here, they're dying for inspiration.
My other one is Canto Tech is the next big thing.
Canto Tech. Okay, I quite like that one. Canto Tech. William, I'm coming back to you. Come on, give me that quote. We're out of time. The MC's staring at me. Luckily, I'm bigger than her, so she's not going to move me here.
Yeah,
I'm joking. That was a joke.
Don't invest based on feelings. Invest on fundamentals.
Good point. Invest on fundamentals. I like that. Raymond, you've already said secure by design. Come on, you've got to give me that inspirational quote, Peter Dingle. That's why I asked you to come and join us. Come on. You're the cool, trendy guy with the red glasses.
Hong Kong, the mojo is back.
Okay, we'll take that. So Hong Kong, the mojo is back. Singapore has not got our mojo. No way. Clear off Singapore. We're here. We're back. Me and you, we're in the room. Right? Hong Kong is here to stay. And as I said, fascinating stuff. Fintech, lots of fintech. But as I said, there's lots of stuff around digital entertainment, esports, gaming, smart cities, lots of great things. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me. Please join me in thanking Peter Dingle, William Wu, Raymond Poon. And, gentlemen, just before we go, people who know me, we need to have one quick selfie.